want to talk in this video about how the Japanese people have been receiving me, how they've been receiving us in Japan, because there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of buzz. I've seen videos out there on the anti-foreigner sentiment, the feeling, the xenophobia that the Japanese are not welcoming to foreigners, or that they don't like Westerners coming. And, I'm sure there's people, Japanese people, who have a hard time with the increased number of Westerners coming to their country, or foreigners in general. But my experience, our experience here in Japan, is that we have been incredibly well received. The people have been so gracious. I mean, they, arigato gozaimasu, it means thank you very much. We hear it over and over again. Sometimes a person will say it 5 or 10 times before they're done, as we're leaving a restaurant or leaving a hotel or something. It's just incredible how friendly they've been and how welcoming and honoring and respecting. So all of this buzz about, there's almost 40 million foreigners coming to Japan in 2024, and 5 million, I quoted these statistics in my last video, but it's like 4 million people came in January of 2025, foreigners. So there's a huge uptick. I believe the Japanese government is setting a target of 60 million foreign tourists coming to Japan by 2030. I'm going to have to check that. But basically, there's huge numbers of people. And with the yen, now the yen is now down to about 140 yen per the dollar. It was, I believe, above 150 some months ago. But still, at 140, you're getting an incredibly good deal. And I believe that's like a 7% reduction from 150 to 140. So you're still getting good numbers in terms of if you're bringing dollars or euros, or you're bringing, foreign currency, is often going to be trading at an advantage to the yen. And so that means that when you're eating out, you can have an incredible meal for under $20 a person. We've had only, I think, a couple of meals, maybe a few meals that have been more than $20 per person, much, significantly more, like over $30 per person. So it's just amazing that at these prices that you can, come and enjoy this country and feel welcome and feel honored and respected, and feel, get the arigato gozaimasu over and over again as they welcome you and thank you and appreciate you and give you gifts. We had my fiance, this woman came up to my fiance in Nikko the first time we were in, and she gave her this amulet, and she didn't speak any English to us, and she just gave her this amulet and said a bunch of things. We had another Japanese person look at the video that I made of that gift of the amulet, and she said it was a blessing of good fortune, and I believe those amulets can also be a blessing for relationships, so that you have good, positive relationships. But this is the heart of the Japanese people, this incredible respect. I would say incredible respect. It just goes beyond words to see it and to feel it over and over and over again. And now not everybody is totally respectful. My buddy had his bag on the seat next to him on the metro, and this woman kind of came up and was trying to get him to shoo away his bag, because it's bad manners. There's a lot of things that are bad manners in Japan. There's a lot of things. So for instance, I took this toothpick from the restaurant that I just ate at, and apparently if you go in deep in a public arena, like a restaurant or on the street, with your toothpick, this is considered rude in Japan. And there's a whole bunch of things, you have to take off your shoes almost everywhere. A lot of places you go, and you have to line your shoes up. They need to be lined up. You don't just want to kind of toss your shoes. Now, I have seen some shoes tossed aside, just a few. It was in a home of a young family, a young couple. They were the Airbnb hosts, and they had several little kids. And so they probably didn't have time in their busy lives to line up their shoes. But most cases, you're going to have the Japanese have you follow a lot of rules, and a lot of things are considered rude. And so it's really helpful to do your research and get an idea of what is considered rude. Like a drunken Westerner walking down the street making a ruckus in the middle of the night is going to be considered rude. In some U.S. places that would just be called a party town, and it would be that's just how things are. But here, you are a public nuisance. if you're walking down the street being loud, or even if you're on the metro or the train being loud. There was, I think on the long distance bullet trains, we heard some people talking in normal voices, but like on the Tokyo Metro, now this is a town of, I don't know how many millions of people live in Tokyo, but it was like silent. You could hear a pin drop with like, the car was full of people. There was a lot of people in the metro car, and you could hear like a pin drop based on like how much sound was going on. And a lot of people might have been traveling alone and had nobody to talk to, right? But it was just incredible. Like, I don't think you ride the New York subway and, you get like total silence with the car being full. Like that I don't think that would happen. So, all in all, like my to sum it up, the Japanese people have just been incredible. And I feel so grateful to have come here for these, so far, 3 weeks. I have 2 more weeks, but just to experience, like, I did call it in my last video the Disneyland country, because only in Disneyland does your imagination come true, where like people are just nice and respectful and kind everywhere you go. Like, where do you get that in the world? Like, I've never been anywhere like that in the world. So I call it the Disneyland country, because it's like it's in your imagination that a country like this would exist, where people treat you so well, so kindly. And it's built into their culture over hundreds and hundreds of years. I looked up this word for my last video. It translated as selfless hospitality, something like that. They just have this cultural value of being kind to the guest. And so if you're coming here from the US or Canada or Europe, and you've heard this news about anti-foreigner sentiment in Japan, well, I've been to the main areas. I've been now to Tokyo, Kyoto, Nara, Nikko, and now Nosawa Onsen. And these are some of the major areas on the tourist circuit. Not so much Nosawa Onsen. You can see there's probably still some snow on the ground. I don't know if you can see that, but here, there's a big snow pile over here. Okay, so Nosawa Onsen is kind of on their off season right now, but I've been all over this country and in tourist areas, and I haven't felt anti-foreigner sentiment. So I'm sure it exists. I'm just saying, like, don't get scared off about coming to this country. Come and experience Japan. It's incredible. And I think you're going to love it, because we've just been loving it. I say, the food prices are pretty low. Some of the accommodation costs have been a little high. We came during cherry blossom season, so I think there was probably a markup on the prices. But, by US standards, which is where I'm from, this is an affordable vacation. I haven't done all my numbers yet. Hope to do that. Maybe there'll be a video out on that later. But I just encourage you to come here, experience this country. It's a wonderful place. And you can get quiet moments like this, where I'm just sitting in the woods with a few cars driving by above me, and it's basically peaceful and you're left alone. Like, I've traveled extensively through Latin America. It's hard to find a quiet space where you're just alone. In the places that I've been to, in the 5 or so Latin American countries that I've traveled to fairly extensively, I haven't found like quiet moments in the woods. I'm sure you can find it if you look hard enough in Latin America. But here it's just been like everywhere we go in Japan, you can find like little quiet moments. So if you're into like peace and quiet and a little zen, a little zen peace, Japan is the place. So if you like this video and you find it helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Helps get this out to more people, and I look forward to providing more content as I continue my travels through Japan and other countries. Thanks for watching.